Hey everybody, I'm back. There was some sort of weird, and I'm gonna have to check with YouTube about what happened. It just simply froze and cut out. Um, Regarding the last live stream that I did through the phone. Fortunately, I have more than one way to do a live stream, and it's here. So what I have to do is go back to the other one and say, "Hey, folks, I'm over at the other live stream. You have to be at the other live streams," which is really cool since I can do that, right? Um, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going over here and getting rid of this and going to see if you're see where you're all are at uh, and if you're back or done. Let's see, you might have. Oh, okay. So this just says it's live. All right, this says it's live. All right, and I don't know why it's got the photos up here. Okay, so it says live here. Okay, so now I'm saying, hey, I am at the um, other new stream, like that. Okay, so if you see that, you can say leave here, say leave here, and come over there. Okay, and that's how you fix a problem. So there. Nothing can be finer than a crisis that is minor in the morning. Anyway, okay. Now, I will go over here and see if you are getting the message, because this thing is just spinning out of control. It's weird. It won't quit.
Because this thing is just spinning out of control. It's weird. It won't.
Okay, that's the new one. All right. And then this was the old one. And it's just spinning. So, and that's wild. Okay. So, hey, everybody. And hey, I am here. I think what I should do is put this out on Twitter. Live stream part 2. Okay, cool. All right. So I got to report this to YouTube. All right. So at any rate, what we were talking about, because I have the notes here from the last one, all right, is Rob Iman was saying if Singletary would have had a better offensive coordinator, the air raid would have been in the NFL a decade ago. And he's saying Singletary, you mean Mike Singletary when he was the coach of the Niners? Jordan Yancey says, I think the Raiders offense will be top 5 in the league. You can't just stop one person. And that's when things started getting weird. Rob Iman says, Alex Smith thrived in a spread formation. Paco Sheet says, Gruden has remade the Raiders. But how has he made it? People make these pronouncements, but they don't finish the pronouncement. What do you mean by that? When you say he's remade the Raiders, how? Okay, let's put it together. They're faster. I remember Mel Kiper did say, that's what spurred me to make this live stream, because Kiper said the Raiders will win the AFC West. But you see, when ESPN makes a pronouncement like that, they have an agenda. All right? And their agenda has to do with the domestic violence issues that have plagued the Kansas City Chiefs. And so they don't want to root for the Chiefs. They would rather root for the Raiders, which are brought in high character guys, than root for the Chiefs, which arguably have character issues. Okay? So when I hear Mel Kiper say that, I think, hey, he's taking a stab against the Chiefs. This has nothing to do with the Raiders. Now, I'd love Kiper here to say, hey, here's why you're wrong. Because I would say, how do you explain John Gruden's inability to build an effective game plan with the players he had last year? And let's face it, he had a lot of good players to work with. All right. Um, Muhammad says Gruden used his link with ESPN to sell the Raiders nationally. I'll buy that. I mean, they're definitely doing this sell job. But look, when was the last time we heard that kind of sell job? Oh, it was after Derek Carr signed that huge contract. And everyone was predicting success. Success. Remember that? Instead, we got 6-10. So then 6-10 led to the ouster of Jack Del Rio, the inster, how you like that, of John Gruden. And instead of 6-10, we got 4-12. So we didn't improve. And yet we went through all of these changes. Isn't it time for stability? I think so. The Raiders have went through too many changes with a coaching staff led by a guy who complains he doesn't have enough time to work with his charges because of changes in the collective bargaining agreement that give him less per day time to work with a player than he had in 1998. So when I hear him say that, and yet I see him making all these changes, my question is, how are you going to make sure that all these new people understand your way of football? Do you have some mnemonic so they can memorize the verbiage of the offense that you're installing, or have you simplified it? What about on defense? What about defense is going to be different this year that allows you to control the run better than you did last year? Are we going to see defenses where you're actually holding the edge? Not only rushing, I mean holding the edge against the run instead of playing off. Just asking, okay? Paco C says, it didn't seem like last year everyone was on board with Gruden. Well, that's the point. How can you be on board if you don't have confidence in the scheme the man is telling you to run? It doesn't take long for players. Players are smart, particularly in this day and age. Players realize, hey, look, if you don't have it, they're not going to play hard for you, which hurts them because they get injured, right? They get injured. So, it's going to be a long year if the offense is not properly designed and structured to turn Derek Carr into a distribution machine. All right. I'm looking for fly sweeps with Josh Jacobs. I'm looking for a lot of Alabama plays that Jacobs ran to be featured in the Raiders offense. I'm looking for hybrid move the pocket approaches that feature misdirection pass patterns that get Antonio Brown so wide open he could cook barbecues for Raider fans in the middle of the field, hand out the plates, catch the pass, and then score the touchdown. That's what I'm looking for. All right. And I'm not confident I'll see it at this point. Things will change. Things will change. I like that. Paco Sheets says, roll tide. Roll tide right in Oakland. I like that. Roll tide. Mohammed says, Khalil Mack's trade really killed the, quote, trust in the process, unquote. Now all those guys are out. So let's see. At most, I see 8-8. Schedule's brutal once again. That's the other thing. Schedule's killer. You got what, 5 games on the road when you count London? It's crazy. And the NFL's not doing any adjusting either. The Bucks have it tough too. So if you don't have a system that gives the other team fits, it's a long road, okay? So I can't see more than 9-7. How do you make players young players perform well on the road, you give them game plans they can digest and understand. Schemes that are effective, take advantage of weakness, and are not predictable. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Bob Money says, I see you guys going 5-12. Wouldn't doubt it. Bob Money, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know if I put money on it, but I wouldn't doubt it. 5-12. Wait. You mean 4-12? Unless you're counting a preseason game. So which is it? Is it 5? You mean 5-11, right? I'm taking it. You think 5 games are a solid proposition? Just asking. All right. Joaquin Chavez says, bruh. Oh, I guess you're pointing to the L. You're pointing to what? You're pointing to the 5-11 dude? Is that what you're saying? I'm kind of lost. This bruh pointing upward. He's like, bruh. Money man. Okay. Give me a prediction. Don't just talk. Don't point to him. Give me a prediction, Joaquin. Mr. Chavez, welcome to Zenny 62 at night. Blep says 25 is going to get uglier before prettier. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay. But I'm really excited about Josh Jacobs. And if John features him with an occasional cockeyed eye set, yeah. Cockeyed eye set, slot, fullback in motion out wide. I could see that. All right. I mean, John has enough offensive tools to really have a ton of fun this year. Although, hey, the tight end they had last year, shoo. But last year, the Raiders did not have a feature back that was young. This year, they do. All right? This year, they do. Joaquin Chavez, 10-6, and Wise Wiz says, Alabama running backs really didn't succeed in the league, though. I think this guy is different, all right? And I say I think this guy is different because, I mean, let's go through that. Let's go there. When I think of Derrick Henry, when I think of Trent Richardson, there are a number of Alabama running backs that are running through my head, okay? No pun intended. What comes to mind is a consistent habit that coaches have had in having those running backs featured in plays that they didn't do well in college. Like with Trent Richardson, when he came to the Raiders, Del Rio had him running this really annoying. Jack Del Rio and the offensive coordinator was first it was Bill Musgrave. Okay, had him running this really annoying line buck. Trent Richardson's play is the off tackle in the sweep, not a line buck. And yet they had the Raiders did this kind of read option look that they basically borrowed from Chip Kelly without understanding the logic behind it. You know, they're coaches that install these plays from college that are really designed to be used with no huddle approaches, and they huddle and they use the same approach and they wonder why it doesn't work when it's a kind of scheme that's most effective when you're not lining up, the defense is off guard, trying to figure out where you're going. They're looking out for the quarterback and run to the outside because it's a read option, right? They're looking for the throw, and so they're spread out a little wider, and boom, the line buck is effective. But in the NFL, when you line up, there's no huddle. You're huddling. Then we line up after a huddle. And your line spacing isn't right. It's close in rather than spread out. And your receiver spacing is closer than it would be in college. Everything is screwed up, and yet they put Trent Richardson in that position and expected him to do well, and then he didn't, and so they released him. I was so upset for Trent Richardson. That's one example. Derrick Henry used him as a bruiser. He had a breakaway game, though, with the Titans, all right? My hope and prayer is that John sees that Josh Jacobs is a space guy. Thinks of him as Space Command. Gets him out into space, all right? Okay? So, all right. All right. Joaquin Chavez, I don't want to use the bad words, I'll hide that one, but Chavez basically is pissed off that you don't recognize we have all these great receivers. Joaquin says, let Isaiah start this year, let Warren play. No, let Josh Jacobs start. You got your running back. Forget it. Let him start. All right. Keenan Mustang says Darren McFadden is the next Josh Jacobs, or I'm not sure what that means there. Joaquin Chavez says Kellogg Williams, what a manly name. Okay. When I think of Cadillac Williams, I think of I don't think of a man, I think of a Cadillac. Like what kind of Cadillac? I want to go old school. Fleetwood Brom. Yeah, Fleetwood Brom. There we go. All right. So let's it's 2:15. Let's pick this up tomorrow. This is an interesting discussion. And we merged it into two. Apologize about the technical disruption. I'll say, hey, YouTube, had a little issue there. Good night, everybody. And see you tomorrow.